What really makes us what we are? Are we just defined by that of which happens around us to think that we're nothing more than the things that we do? To be a human doing rather than a human being. And to think that we have to be this type of person to have any accomplishment in life. And to think that by not being what others deem a respectable thing to be in life, that you don't have any value or that there's no meaning. I mean, what really makes you what you are and who you are? Now, so much of that is affected by where you've been born at, how you've been raised, your parents, the environment that you live in. All these things factor in so much into making you who and what we are. And we don't want to think about the past too much, but then at the same time, there's a lot of things that happened in the past that make you what you are now. The environment, the things that you have no control over. And making the choice to not even think of the past and to only focus on the present, you wouldn't even be in that position to make that choice if you didn't have actions and things happen to you in the past to make you who and what you are now. We tend to get caught up in these ideas of what we have to be, what we have to do in life. And you're being pulled in all these different directions by people telling you that you have to be this way or that this is the right way to pursue things in life. People put you down, they tell you you're not good enough. And the times you go to compare yourself to somebody that's really good at something, they tell you that you are wasting your time. And then when you get asked by somebody, what are your hobbies, what are your interests? And they tell you that you're bragging about yourself simply by answering the question because of their own jealousy. And there's all this conflict, and I see people losing touch of what it really means to be themselves. And they only identify by the things that happen around them. They don't really know themselves. They can learn so much. They can have an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's degree, a PhD. They can know so much about the world happening around them, but yet know so little about what's happening within themselves. And they define their entire being by the perception of what people think of them, who they are. They try to uphold this idea of being someone that is this archetype and this figure that they build up inside of their mind that they see of what other people think of them. They try to build upon this. They attach themselves to that identity. You can take somebody, for example, that maybe what they really enjoy doing is, it could be art, it could be writing or singing, or any other hobby or passion that they have, and they start identifying as that, as if there's no meaning or value to them, other than if they try to be the best in the world at that one thing. I don't only do drawing, I do writing and poetry. I've had interest in sprinting and powerlifting. I've had interest in many things, but I think a lot of times we get caught up in trying to be this person that we've built up in our mind, and we attach ourselves to that. And you often see someone that they might have something that they're really good at, one thing, and then they try to pursue something else that isn't this identity of what they are that people perceive them to be, and they get made fun of. They're told that you can't do that, that's not you. And I see it as if people feel that they are entitled to the entertainment of someone else because of the identity that they perceive them to have and to be. You might see someone as an artist, and let's say they want to pursue something else on the side as a hobby or something they enjoy, and people want to only identify with that person as someone that is only an artist. Or you could have somebody that could be a boxer, or an athlete, or maybe a musician, or whatever it is that they do. People tend to think of you as that one thing. They tend to think of you as a one-dimensional person, instead of thinking of it outside of the box and thinking of it three-dimensionally and seeing you as a whole. But the point isn't to try to make everybody, all their views of you, trying to change all of that, because a lot of times you can't really change a lot of people's opinions about you, and there's no point in trying to, because oftentimes one thing I've noticed is that no matter how hard you try, there's a lot of points to where you can do a million good things for somebody, and the one time you do something, one mistake, or you say one thing wrong, they always hold that against you, and they use that to define who you are based on that one mistake. And then they get completely attached to that one mistake and think of it as what defines you as a person. And I always see people going out and trying to find negativity in everything, trying to find a reason to put other people down, a reason to complain or make excuses that they can't do something, or that they can't be something, to try to find fault in everything that is around them. And we get pulled in all these different directions of who we should and shouldn't be, being told that we're not good enough, we should go in this direction. And it's often, I notice that whenever people try to tell you who you should be all the time, they're constantly telling you that you have to live this way. They end up being very depressed or sad or miserable. And I think that sometimes what happens is that they don't want to see you being extremely happy, or you pursuing what you want to do in life, because it reminds them of the choices that they didn't want to make. And then you have often that you try to improve yourself and people put you down. You try to do things to help other people, and they say that you're being selfish. And then you do things to improve yourself so that you can then go out there and help other people. And then you're told you're selfish. And that's why it doesn't really matter as much about what's going on around you as it matters is what's going on inside of your mind and what you're thinking of the experiences that you're having. Because people can say all these things, you can have all these things happen, but a lot of it depends on your perspective of it, what you're thinking. And for me, when I say that I've gone through life experiences, or that I talk about things that have affected me and how they have affected me, I don't say it in a way to put other people down, or to say that my experiences, because they're this way, that I know I'm right or anything. If you're going to ask somebody for advice or an opinion, and then turn around and put them down, and to say that and claim that they're trying to say that they're better than you, it's just self-defeating, really. And I just want to share my experiences to help people. I just want to be myself, to just do what I enjoy. Because, I mean, if you're just going out in the world and going through life, doing everything because people tell you that, that's how you should live, then you're not really being you. You're not doing what you want to do. If everybody was to agree on a certain idea, and if most people agreed that, let's say you were to pick a different color, if you were to ask many people what their favorite color is, you might have a lot of people picking a certain color, and let's say their favorite color is the color of my jacket, and most people say it's green. Doesn't matter that most people might think that. if you have a different opinion, does that mean it's completely wrong? It's completely based on your perception of what you think and what you feel, what you've gone through life to make you into what you are. And everybody attaches themselves to this label of something rather than defining themselves by who they are through their life experiences and taking those experiences to be something rather than trying to be something that is defined by what other people think or labeled to associate themselves with something such as a group or an idea that other people have. And I often see people that they want to help themselves or to improve or to get over things, and they keep looking outward. They keep trying to find all the answers by reading a book, and they don't spend time just stopping, thinking, relaxing, and really paying attention to what they're thinking and their emotions. What's helped me get through things, and as I've said before, when I say this, I'm not saying it to put other people down or say that I'm right. I'm just giving my experiences to help other people. For me, by setting my emotions aside and thinking logically, it allows me to take a look at myself and the choices that I'm making, to realize what it is that I'm doing with my life, why I'm making these choices, and why it would be that I think I'm a certain type of person, or why maybe if all of a sudden I start worrying about people's opinions so much, or something starts bothering me, I can set myself back in line and back on track to what I'm wanting to do and what makes me happy. And often people get this idea that they have to be a certain thing, that what you say at one moment permanently defines who you are for the rest of your life. We always change. Our life changes. We change over time. I mean, just because you might have said or done something at one point in your life, that doesn't mean that that's who you are forever. I mean, if that was the case, then we've all been chosen at some point. Does that mean we're chosen forever? I mean, it sounds silly to ask or say that, but that's what it's like. I mean, there is a point to where someone might make a mistake or a decision, and if they keep repeating that, then it's understandable as to why you might not want to talk to that person, or that person might be a bad influence. But just because someone makes one decision once in their life, that doesn't define who they are forever. And I think that people often want to do this because they don't want to spend time to actually consider how they're affecting other people, or to think logically rather than only thinking emotionally and setting out to put other people down and setting out to outwardly project their own insecurities on the people around them. So as we go through life and we do all of these things to try to be something or be someone, you have to realize that you just have to be yourself and to not think so much about what everybody else around you is saying. Take a moment to sit down and to think about what makes you happy, what do you enjoy, what does all of this mean to you, what is more important to you than other things, and just take some time to think about that. And when thoughts enter your mind that are opinions of what other people think, or they are opinions of the world around you, push that aside and just focus on what you are as a person, not what defines you by the things that you're doing or attaching yourself to emotions or the external world around you. Think about who you really are. Discover yourself, because if you don't, you're going to go out in the world and you're going to be lost, and the only thing you're going to have to define who you are is the perception of what other people think of you. Because at the end of the day, what really matters is what you think of yourself.